Okay, so first things first, I'm the realist. No, okay, that was so lame. Woo! I feel like my mouth is so dry because I just keep talking. Welcome back to my channel, guys. I am kind of delirious. I'm very, very tired. I had work today and I just wanted to film because I felt really like kind of down in the dumps, and filming makes me happy. So I have my second video of the Makeup for Beginners series, and it is focusing on the eyes. I don't know why I have to point to everything today. Okay, so if you haven't seen my first video about everything you need to know for the face, well, all that I could think of at this current moment for the face, please go check out the video before this. I'll put the link down below or somewhere on the screen, probably. Yeah. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, okay, let's talk about palettes, because I was like halfway through filming the eye section and realized that I didn't talk about eyeshadow palettes. So let's do that, shall we? What I recommend for beginners: find an eyeshadow palette or quad, whatever you find that works best for you. If you're a person that is fine doing the same thing every day, use an eyeshadow quad, because you're not going to need to experiment, especially if you just want to nail down a fast routine. That will be your best bet. There's a lot of eyeshadow palettes out there. Once again, preference. I mainly look for a palette, a nice all-over shade, or even like a brow bone highlight shade. A few shimmery shades that give me options, matte shades to go in my crease, a transition and a darkening, one a little bit darker and then one even darker than that. And even if you are real bold, you can have other colors. I really love the Lorac palettes because you have that whole first top row of matte and then the bottom shimmers, so you have a lot to go for. Oh, and I also really like it when palettes have a black. That is kind of a must-have for me because I always like to set my liner, but we'll get to that. So palettes, your preference, try them out in the store, make sure you like the consistency. Some are real powdery, some people like that, some people don't like all the powdery. It's really just preference. The naked palettes are also really great from Urban Decay. I was trying to say that all at once and it was coming out real weird. Those are probably my favorite. Or if you have the money for it and you want to go a cheaper route, build your own palette. Buy a Z palette and get individual eyeshadows. Makeup Geek, Anastasia, Beverly Hills, so many different brands have them. Even MAC, if you really want to go there, or like use MAC shadows because you love them, and just make your own palette. Just make your own colors, everything. First things first, you want to prime your eyes. I cannot stress enough how important it would be to prime your eyes. You can get away with concealer or foundation as your primer, but I personally recommend getting an actual eyeshadow primer. What it does is keep your eyeshadows from creasing, and it kind of helps them stay on your eyes. So like I say in the first video about face primers, pretty much the same thing applies here. Find a primer that works best for you, what consistency you like, what kind of coverage, I guess, what colors and stuff. There's like different color like primers that you can use for different colored looks, or if you just want that is like skin toned, anything like that. Yeah, preference. Once again, I'm gonna say preference a lot in these videos because it really is. So today I'm using the Benefit 24-hour, or no. So today I am using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I don't know why I said Benefit first, that was weird. Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I like this a lot. The only thing that I'm not digging so far is that it's pretty oily on the lids, but once you blend it in and set it, it's not so bad. I apply this with either my finger or a brush to blend it in. With this, I think I like it more with a brush, but other eyeshadow primers, I usually blend it in with my finger. Next, you want to set your primer. Sorry, it's kind of wavy. But use a light colored shadow to set your primer, or just even like a skin tone. Anything close to your skin tone or even lighter. A little darker is not going to kill you either. But I like to apply this all over where I applied the primer. So that's why I usually recommend something lighter or your actual skin tone. So all over the lid, up to the brow bone, like you set your foundation with powder. to make a nice flawless base for the rest of your powders to be blended upon. Same thing applies here. You want, you want a nice smooth base to blend your shadows and build them on. Today I'm using, I think, just the first color from the Shaaanxo palette and blending that in with a fluffy brush. What was I talking about? Transition colors. Okay, so for your transition, you want something a little bit darker than what you just applied, but still light enough that you can still build contrast on top of it to darken it, if need be. Honestly, this is just going to give dimension back into your eye because you kind of applied foundation and concealer or eye primer over it, and it kind of creates a real flat surface. So this is bringing that 3D effect back in. So I like to use a firm blender brush from XO Beauty. I love these kind of brushes. I highly suggest, if there's any brush that you must buy for your eyes, it's this, because you can pack on colors if need be, or, you know, blend it out. This brush is probably the most used brush of my brush collection, fluffy brushes like this, and I love the XO Beauty Firm Blender brushes. I highly recommend you try them, or brushes that are similar to this. I will also be listing everything I use down below as well, but I just take a little bit of, I'm just taking a little bit of Creme Brulee onto that firm blender brush and putting it into my crease as a transition color. So just, you know, getting that 3D effect back in. Next, I'm going to darken my crease a little bit. Once again, I'm building up those colors and it gives dimension to the eye. I'm taking Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek and taking that on a, what is this called? XO Beauty Crease Blender Brush, and applying that to the outer V of my eye and into the crease, and blending that out with the firm blender brush after that if I can't blend it out enough with the crease blender brush. This one's it's more dense, so it's a little bit harder for me to blend with. Some people can. That's why I use my firm blender brush so much. But yeah, I'm just adding a little bit more dimension into the crease. Next, I'm taking BH Cosmetics, a light lid shade. This is the Neutral Eyes palette. Also, BH Cosmetics have great palettes as well. Let me just say that, by the way. I like to put, there's so many different things you can put on your lid. You can put like a darker color and real smoke it out, or you can put a light shimmery shade or a matte shade. Today, I used the light shimmery shade all over the eye. Just patted that down with a eyeshadow brush from XO Beauty. For your lid, really, you just want to pretty much, it's bringing dimension back into the eye. You want a lighter part that comes, you know, brings attention. You can put it either right in the center and darken also that inner corner for a rounded eye effect, or you can just have that whole lid space open and shimmery, and it just makes your eyes seem a little bit more open. Next, I darken. For beginners, this is optional. I personally like it because it adds a little bit more of a dimension to your eye. I take an even darker color. I'm using Americano by Makeup Geek today in a pencil brush, any small detailer brush that you can get, and I apply it more to the inner V and directly into the crease, and I blend it out. I feel like that just adds another dimension to the eye, makes it even more 3D, really pretty, more defined. I really like it. I'm also taking that color and the color Cocoa Bear that I put in the crease earlier as like a darkening transition color, I guess, and I smudge it underneath the eyes. This is also completely optional. I think it just completes the look for me. I think it rounds out my eyes. You can either drag it in 3/4 of the way, halfway, all the way in for real smoky. It's all up to you, and I blend it out with my firm blender brush underneath with no additional product. For me, just with blending and just having those darker colors, I think it makes it a little bit more sultry, but of course, you know, feel free to add and take out any steps as you see fit. Eyeliner, so many different types of eyeliner. You have stick eyeliners, liquid, gels, creams, pens. I'm playing with an actual pen, but pretty much it's all up to your preference. If you like sharp winged eyeliners, I definitely recommend like eyeliner, like pens or even gel liner, liquid eyeliners. Pencils wouldn't be your best bet just because it's harder to get a sharper line, but you know, still preference. Of course, I will link down below my eyeliners tutorial. Today I did a wing because, you know, I love wings, but I'll link the eyeliner or different types of eyeliner tutorials down below. You can check it out, see what you like. I always like to set my eyeliners no matter what kind of eyeliner I'm using. I think it's just adding a little bit more pigment and longevity to it. I like to make sure it's just really, really black. I take a flat shader brush and use a black and just tap it on top of the eyeliner. I just press it in and really make sure that that eyeliner stays in place and doesn't go anywhere. You can do this with a pencil, liquids, even after they dry. I just like to add that extra pigment, that extra staying powder, just like how you set your face with powder. Next, let's move on to lashes, shall we? I cannot stress this enough that you should invest in a lash curler. You honestly don't need like a super expensive one, but just get an eyelash curler. It can change your life. I'm not even kidding. Even if you have long, long lashes, you don't think you need one, trust me, no matter what kind of lashes you have, you want an eyelash curler. For very simple makeup everyday looks, if you're just trying to rush out the door and simple things, you just want to apply mascara, curl your eyelashes. Take that extra 5 to 10 seconds or 30 seconds tops to curl your lashes because it opens up your eye and really makes you look awake. Also helps, you know, your lashes stay curled because you want them to curl upwards, you don't want them to be down in your eyes. So when I curl my lashes, I know that for me, it opens up my eyes, makes them look wider, makes me look more awake. Definitely invest in one. I mean, my eyelash curler, it's from Rite Aid. It's pretty good. Next, I have mascara. Once again, this is really preference. I don't have much to say about mascara because it's really up to you. Black, brown, whatever color it is, whatever kind of formula, waterproof, not waterproof, whatever brand, just is your preference what you like. I use the L'Oreal Double Extend Tube. I like to use that eyelash primer because it protects my lashes and it makes it easier to come off at the end of the day. So once again, primer, no primer, lashes, your preference, how much and how many coats you want to apply, what color, everything. I like to apply mascara to my bottom lashes. I think it just makes my eyes look bigger and wider and I look more awake. That's also just a preference. If you don't want to put, you know, mascara on your lower lash line, you don't have to. I love it because it makes my eyes look more wide, I guess. I just look more awake, so I like it. So while my lashes are drying, I usually move on to my brows. But you can, you know, do this in whatever order you feel like it. I'm just doing it in the order that I do it in the video. So brows, so many different kinds. You have brow gels that you can use, brow pomades, sticks, powders, waxes, preference really. And color, I recommend one shade lighter than your hair color because my hair color at the roots it's black, but if I just use black into my brows, they're gonna look really, really dark and it's just like way too dark, especially against like a lighter skin tone. So use something that's like a shade or even like 2 shades lighter. You just want to figure out the right tone for the rest of your face. For me, I like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow Pomade in deep brown. I find that that works best for me because some of my hair is lighter than black, so this kind of lightens up my brows and kind of ties it all together. Fill in your brows. I don't really have much advice for how to fill in your brows at this current moment. I never really had a problem with unruly brows. Like I just tweeze a few hairs every few weeks and it kind of just stays pretty neat. I'm sure I could probably take more steps to do more, but it really doesn't bother me how my brows look now. But you know, do your brows how you like to do them, fill them in. I like to draw a line underneath the brow and then one on top, fill in between, and when you get closer to the tail, towards the middle of your face I guess, I like to do strokes upward to make it more natural because you usually have less hair there, so making it a little bit lighter there, it's not too bad. Lashes. So today I'm showing you a different way to apply lashes. When you buy eyelashes, it really doesn't matter what brand, it's really just up to you what kind of lash band and what kind of style of lashes you like. Mostly for beginners, you're not going to be popping on eyelashes, but I just wanted to include it just in case if you do want to wear lashes. Today I'm showing you a very different way of applying lashes rather than just plopping them on top. Today I am putting them on from the bottom, which is a little different. What I do is I trim them to how much I want on my eye. I measure it underneath, like I literally place it underneath my eye and make sure. I've used these before, so they were pre-cut. Cut them a little shorter than you would when putting them on your upper lash line, like on top of your lashes. I trim them to however short I want. Then I cut the front end off, like maybe 3 or 4 little bunches, and I cut them. And I'll insert a clip here so you can see how I cut them. But I find this is the best way to apply it for underneath your eye, because trying to apply this thing in one whole strip, one of the places going to get in your eye and eyelash glue in your eye is not fun, and you don't really want it there. It hurts and it's very, very uncomfortable. So I cut them. I take the outer part first, put glue on the top. I'll show you where. I just want it on the front end, not on the back where you usually would put it. I'm using these long pairs of tweezers. These are ceramic tweezers, and honest to God, these are for like vaping and like building and stuff, but I had an extra pair laying around, so I use them for my eyelashes because they're very long tweezers and I like that. So what I do is I look down into a mirror. This was really hard to film, by the way. I look down into a mirror, use one hand to lift up my eyelid so I can clearly see where my lashes are, and I carefully place it right onto my actual lashes, like as close to the root as possible without getting to the actual inner lash line. Just because you don't want it on the inner lash line, it's going to be more uncomfortable and you have more chances of getting eyelash glue in your eye. And trust me, this is completely safe. I've done this for a few weeks now. It doesn't rip out any of my natural lashes. Perfectly fine. So I just place it right there. Also, just wait for the glue to get tacky. You really want it to be tacky because if it moves around there, it's going to be really, really hard to fix versus on top of your eye. Eyelash glue, I'm using the Duo Adhesive Dark Tone Eyelash Glue. Once again, eyelash glue, your preference. I just like Duo. It's been around for a very, very long time. I've used it for a very, very long time. So yeah. I just press it to the bottom of my lashes and press the outer corner and then the inner corner in, and then I use the long ways and I clamp it down. And then I do the same thing with the littler lash set and apply it to the inner corner. I also just wanted to, after I have my lashes on, I always put a little bit of mascara, make sure they're really pressed into my real lashes. I do a real light pump of my eyelash curler to really press them together. And that's pretty much it for my lashes. I also like to apply a very light color, shimmery color, in this inner corner. It's going to make you look really, really awake. And pretty much you can take a matte or shimmery shade onto your brow bone just to highlight it, just to cleans up underneath your brow, and I think it looks very, very good. So yeah, that concludes my makeup for beginners video for the eyes. Please, any suggestions that you have or comments, leave them down below in the comments. I would love to hear suggestions for more makeup for beginners, like makeup for beginner tips, or even just like tutorials of looks you would like to see. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this. I hope you learned a few things along the way, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!